Hey guys, it's Jess with another video for you for the Simon Hurley Create design team. Today I'm going to show you how to make 3 cards using the Distress Oxide Sprays and Simon Stencil Frostbite from the newer release in August of 2019. First, I'm using a gel plate and I am spritzing on some Distress Oxide sprays. I'm using a few different colors of blue because I wanted to use that Frostbite stencil. You can mist this with water to help move the ink a little bit more, but I find that the ink is usually just wet enough by itself since this is a spray. So you can just plop the stencil right down on top and go ahead and put your cardstock on top of that. So I'm using the stark white cardstock from Simon Hurley here, and I'm just giving it a good amount of time to make sure that it has time for all of that color to soak into the paper and pick it all up. Now you can see that it is a little blotchy, and I'm okay with that because you do still get a lot of that really nice detail, but it's a little bit more whimsical or abstract. I think it's perfect for creating really cool backgrounds. There's something about a background that's imperfect, to me at least, that I really, really love because it's just a little more interesting, I think, when it has a little more character than just a perfectly stenciled background. Now I'm laying my second piece of stark white cardstock into the same place that I just had my previous piece of cardstock so that I can pick up kind of the negative image of the ink that was left over, and I absolutely love the way that this one turned out. I think this is really super cool. It's kind of like a fragmented sort of icy look, which goes really cool with the winter cards for the Frostbite stencil. Now the cool thing about this stencil is that it doesn't have any edges as far as like straight lines go. So you can use it in a variety of different ways. You can see I'm trying to figure out the best placement. I didn't want it to be on the entire card. I wanted it to kind of be off towards the side and only like on the just the edge, I guess. And I'm just picking up the ink here from the stencil. Now you can see I only sprayed ink onto my gel plate one time, and I got 3 backgrounds out of that one spritz. So you can really get a lot out of those Distress Oxide sprays, and you don't have to feel like you need to wipe it clean and create a new background every time. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn those 3 backgrounds into cards, and in order to do that I'm actually going to use some black cardstock for all 3 of them and do some heat embossing on the black. I'm using my mini MISTI here to stamp out my sentiments. These are from Caroling Squad. And I'm just going to pour on some Ranger white embossing powder. The ink that I used is the Letter It ink from Ranger. And I'm just pouring on that embossing powder, flicking the back to get off the excess, and then I will go ahead and melt that with my heat tool. It melts the embossing powder and gives you kind of a dimensional, shiny sort of look, which I really like. Now I can go ahead and trim down my sentiment strips. Now each of these is going to be kind of a different style depending on the type of card that I'm making. I wanted them all to have the same sort of vibe, but they're all different in their own way, and I think they all have their own little bit of character. So I'm just using my paper trimmer to slice those down so that they're all the appropriate size. All the sentiments were kind of stacked a little bit differently, so their little strips are going to be different sizes, of course. So that one down at the bottom says Silent Night, Holy Night. Then we've got the strip that says Merry Christmas, and then Sending Carols, Cheer, and Hugs for All Year, which I think that's just the super cutest little sentiment ever. And I really, really like the way that these look. So you can see there that I'm starting to kind of lay out how I want my cards to look, and I'm going to go ahead and adhere some of those to my card base or my card fronts. It looks like I need to replace my adhesive there. It's running quite a bit low, so I had a little trouble getting some out of the bottle, but here I am just adding a little bit of light gray thread to the back of my little sentiment panel, and then I'm going to go ahead and add on some foam tape to kind of stick it in place and then also let that stick to my card itself, and I really like the little effect that this gives. So now we're going to go ahead and move on to the other cards. You can see I just used my ATG to adhere this black sentiment strip directly to my card panel. I liked that this one was super simple and didn't require really any fluff. I just liked that the sentiment went straight across. I originally had planned to cut it down, but then I liked the way that it looked going all the way across, so I just left it. This one I did cut down, just popping some foam tape onto the back, and I'm going to go ahead and adhere that to my card panel. Now all of these I did also attach to white A2 size card bases in the Stark White cardstock. This stuff is super duper heavy duty, you guys, and it is amazing for card bases. So if you're looking for a really sturdy card base to make your cards feel like they are extra fancy, definitely use the Stark White. It's really, really good. So you can see here I'm just adding some black and white twine to the back of this one. I felt like because that sentiment strip didn't go all the way across, it needed a little extra something, so I went ahead and added that. Now you can see I should have added this before I adhered my foam tape sentiment to my card panel, but I wasn't thinking about it at the time, so I actually peeled it up and it did rip, so I ended up having to go back in with some glue and like reattach it because it was a little flimsy at that point. But hey, you got to do what you got to do, right? All in the sake and the name of crafting. You see there, I completely ripped it. That's okay because it didn't rip the front of my card panel, and when it's all said and done, you couldn't tell at all. But you can see that I am using some super glue here. That's how I reattached it as well, and I'm using that to attach a tiny little bow because little bows are super cute. So that is actually the last card. Here you can take a look at all three of the cards in their finished state. I hope you really like these and you're inspired to create something fun with maybe some non-traditional Christmas colors. If you do the Christmas thing, if you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel for more videos like this, and be sure to hit that little bell icon to be notified every time I post a new video. Thanks so much, and I'll see you guys next time.